Hello everybody, this is Luke, and here is another EDH deck tech. This is just recently, only a few weeks after the release of the 4 tribal decks, which look awesome. I've gone up against pretty much all of them. Vampires looks unbelievable, Dragons is fantastic. The pussies are great too. Those cats can get real bad. But I'm never one to just go with the pre-con. I love to be creative, especially with my EDH stuff. But it's a Saturday. I played FNM yesterday here in my local. I actually played 2 FNMs. I actually go to Modern in Greenfield or Glendale, which is a suburb in the city of Milwaukee. And I went 4-0 with elves, and I made a variation of Ross Miriam's list, and then I went and I played EDH and Pauper EDH, which I'm going to show you some stuff later on, some of the PDH cards and decks that we've come up with, which is a way for us to try and de-spike for all intents and purposes. I don't know how great it goes, but so this is a new, relatively new brew. This is Ruric Thar, the Unbowed. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, he a bad some bitch. He's freaking monster. If you like playing, if you're, what is it, Timmy or Johnny? Which one's the one that likes to play big creatures? Yeah, if you're the big creature dude, this is your boy, your homeboy. So Thar is Gruul, 4 and a red and a green. And he's an ogre. He's got vigilance and reach. He has to attack every turn if he's able. And when a player casts a non-creature spell, Thar deals 6 damage to him, including yourself. So there's more creatures in here than anything else. But he gets nasty. Now remember, that doesn't count as commander damage, but who cares? All right, let's talk mana base, first of all. Let's set Thar over here. I believe I counted 7 mountains and 16 forests is how the mana base works out best for me. Now, a lot of these guys are big fatties, so you're going to have to make sure that you make the mana base work and have enough ramp creatures or ramp spells. But, you know, I don't like to really get too much into the nitty-gritty of the mana base. So let's go to the other lands. Maze of Ith. This keeps Thar from attacking when you don't want him to, when you want him to live, or if somebody else is trying to hit you with another fatty of their own. Maze of Ith is great. Untaps it, removes it from combat damage. Dick Tower. This is Reliquary Tower. This gives you no maximum hand size and taps for colorless. Evolving Wilds. Fetch a basic. Terramorphic. Fetch a basic. Cinderglade, this is the Tango Lands, Temple of Abandon, the Scry Lands, Highland Weald. We've got just a variation of the Bounce Lands, and that comes into play Tap Lands and the Life Lands. Just like I said, make the mana base work for you. Nothing too crazy here. I'm not using like any cradles or anything, although maybe I should. Rootbound Crag. And Nykthos obviously taps for Devotion, the poor man's cradle. All right, let's talk about the creatures, because that's what this deck is all about. Fauna Shaman is a tutor. Pay 1 green and tap her and discard a creature card. Go and fetch a creature card to your hand. So obviously that's great. Duskwatch Recruiter. You can pay 2 and a green. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, and you can reveal a creature card from your hand and put the rest in the bottom of your library, and then the one that you reveal into your hand. I think I probably already said that. Drum Hunter. Let's get in a little closer if we can. Drum Hunter. 3 and a green, 2/2 at the beginning of your end step. If you've got a creature power 5 or greater, then you can draw a card, and he taps for a colorless. Zerta Druid taps for a green, and when he does, he shoots each opponent 1/1 for a Gruul. Gyre Sage 1/2 evolve. Add 1 green to your mana pool for each +1/+1 counter on Gyre Sage. Pretty great. Somberwald Sage is usually what I go for when I'm tutoring for or hoping to see mana dorks. It's a 2 and a green 0/1 that adds 3 mana of any one color, and you can only spend it on creature spells. Those are the mana dorks. Now we get into the what I call the value creatures or the utility creatures. Elvish Piper, 3 and a green 1/1. Pay 1 and tap it, and you can throw a creature from a hand onto the field. Karametra's Acolyte. This is another mana dork. I wasn't paying attention, I guess. My coffee's not kicked in. 1/4 for 3 and a green. Tap for green to your mana pool equal to your devotion to green. Now, another utility creature. Essence Warden. Thar's going to be dealing me some damage too, so it helps to gain that life. This is a Soul Sister for green. Gain 1 life whenever a creature hits the field. Uvenwald Tracker. 1 and a green, tap it, and target creature you control fights another target creature. 1/1 for 1. We don't have a whole lot of removal, so he's gotten a lot of work done. Scavenging Ooze. Keeps those graveyards in check. 1 to exile a card from a graveyard, and if it was a creature, you gain a life and get a 1/1 counter on him. Managorger Hydra. Whenever anybody casts a spell, he gets a +1/+1 counter. 1/1 for 3. Reclamation Sage, the pretty one. I always recommend getting the pretty one because this is some hot art. 2/1 when ETBs gets rid of an enchantment or an artifact for 2 and a green. Ewit, Eternal Witness, 2/1 for 1 and 2 green. Gets back a card from your graveyard to hand. Prowling Serpapard, out of Amonkhet. 1 and 2 green for 4/3. Can't be countered. Cat Snake. He looks weird in the art, but whatever. And your creature spells can't be countered anymore. So that makes you happy. Vizier of the Menagerie, also from Amonkhet. 3/4 for 3 and a green. You can look at the top card of your library anytime you want, and you can cast it if it's a creature card. If you cast, you can spend mana as though we're any type to cast creature spells. Ogre Battle Driver. 2 and 2 red, 3/3. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, that creature gets a +2/+0 and gains haste until the end of turn. Solid card. It might come out for something better, but he's earning his keep so far. This is Nylea, God of the Hunt, in Korean. Let's see if I remember what she says. 6/6 for 3 and a green. Trample. Maybe reach. She's got a bow. But your creatures get trample, and I think they might also get buffed up as well. I think they get +2/+2 if you pay 3 and a green. I'll amend that if I'm wrong. But this was considered foreign and damaged, even though it's in perfect condition, so I got it cheaper. Acidic Slime, 3 and 2 green, 2/2 Death Touch. When it ETBs, destroy an artifact, enchantment, or land. Hornet Queen, 4 and 3 green, 2/2 Flying Death Touch, and when she ETBs, put 4 1/1 green insect creature tokens with Flying and Death Touch onto the field. Great chump blockers, so you can swing in with your big fatties. Crater of Behemoth, another 4 and 1, 5/5, haste, trample, and 5 and 3 green, and when it ETBs, all creatures you control get +X/+X, where X is equal to the number of creatures you have. I don't believe they get haste, though. They do get trample, I believe. Oh, that's the doggy. Dax, chill. All right. What else do we have? Brutalizer Exarch, 5 and a green for 3/3. When it ETBs, choose 1. Search a library for a creature card, reveal it, and shuffle your library and put it on top of it. Or what I usually do with the Exarch is I put target non-creature permanent on the bottom of its owner's library. So you can take your Ristic Study and shove it, usually. Garruk's Horde, 5 and 2 green for a 7/7 trample. You play with the top card of your library revealed, and you can cast that card from your library if it's a creature card. And you can do this, and you can only do it at sorcery speed. Kikijiki makes another token of something else. Hasty 2/2 for 2 and 3 red, and you can put a token on the battlefield that's a target of target non-legendary creature you control. Gets haste, and you sack it at the end of the turn. Just put him in. It's badass. Archetype of Endurance, 6 and 2 green for a 6/5. It has creatures you control have hexproof, and creatures your opponents control cannot have hexproof or get it. So short of a a Bonds of Mortality, all your guys get hexproof. It's pretty awesome. Pathbreaker Ibex settles the argument very, very quickly. 4 and 2 green for a 3/3. Whenever he attacks, creatures you control gain trample and +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. It's usually going to be at least 6 because of Thar Baby over here. So this is a monster card. Woodland Bellower, tutors a mana dork usually. 6/5 for 4 and 2 green. When it ETBs, tutor for a non-legendary green creature with CMC 3 or less. Tutor it onto the field and shuffle your library. Hellkite Tyrant. I want all of the Brea decks, you babies. 4 and 2 red for a 6/5 flying trample. Whenever he connects with another player, gain control of all the artifacts that player controls. This thing is going to piss some people off. Love it. Primordial Sage. 4 and 2 green. 4/5 for a spirit. And when you cast a creature spell, you can draw a card, so you can keep chaining into more gas. Ronas the Indomitable. Man, Amonkhet was good to this deck. 2 and a green for a 5/5 legendary god. Death Touch, indestructible. He can't attack or block unless you have another creature with power 4 or greater. Oh gosh, that's going to be so hard. Whatever shall I do? 2 and a green, you can pay, and another creature gets +2/+0 and trample until end of turn. Genesis Hydra. X and 2 green. Whenever you cast Genesis Hydra, reveal the top X cards of your library. You can put a non-land permanent card with CMC X or less from among them onto the field, and shuffle your library, and Genesis Hydra gets those X counters. So if you pay 10, you get to tutor it, you get to draw 10 and bring a 10 drop or less onto the field, and then he becomes a 10/10. Terastodon. Destroy some good stuff. 9/9 for 6 and 2 green. When it ETBs, you can destroy up to 3 target non-creature permanents, and for each permanent that's destroyed this way, its controller gets a 3/3 green elephant. This is Xenagod, Xenagos, God of the Revel. I believe that's it, yeah. 3 and a Gruul for a 6/5 enchantment, indestructible god. And whenever, on your combat step, you get to give haste and +X to target creature, where X is equal to that creature's power. So it basically doubles that creature's power until end of turn. This is seen occasionally in Modern, very occasionally in Tooth and Nail decks. You'll Tooth and Nail and Entwine for 9 mana, including a bunch of green. You'll get this guy and Emrakul the Aeon's Torn, and Emrakul gets haste and is a 15, or gets +15/+15, so it becomes a 30/30 Annihilator 6, and that usually ends the game, unless your opponent has a Pestermite or a a Deflecting Palm. Then you die, and that's happened to me, and it's funny. Rampaging Baloths. 4 and 2 green for a 6/6 trample with landfall. When a land ETBs under your control, you can put a 4/4 green beast creature token onto the field. Gets out of control quickly. Omnath, Locus of Rage. Om nom nom nom. 3, 2 red and 2 green for a 5/5 with landfall. Whenever a land ETBs under your control, put a 5/5 red and green elemental creature token onto the field. Whenever he or another elemental you control dies, it lightning bolts a creature or a player. Really, really solid. More foreign cards that I have to remember exactly what they do. This is Soul of the Harvest. 4 and 2 green for a 6/6. And I'm guessing, I think he has trample. And whenever you cast a creature spell, it's non-creatures that think and use words. Non-token creatures that ETB under your control or are cast, I can't remember exactly which, they get to draw you a card. That's what it is. All right, I really should have looked up all these foreign cards, but I was in a rush. Inferno Titan, in English, thank God. 6/6 for 4 and 2 red. 6 drops are kind of the where the curve is strongest here. Inferno Titan, when he ETBs or attacks, he deals 3 damage, divided as you choose among any 1, 2, or 3 target creatures and/or players. And he's got fire breathing. Pay a red and he gets +1/+0. Woodfall Primus, trample. When he ETBs, destroy target non-creature permanent, and he has persist. So if you kill him, he comes back with a -1/-1 counter, and he gets to kill something else. So he's a destructive kitchen finks for a lot more mana. 5 and 3 green for a 6/6. Great value creatures. Zealous Conscripts, 4 and a red for a 3/3 haste. When he ETBs, gain control of target permanent until end of turn. Untap that permanent, and it gets haste until end of turn. Stonehoofed Chieftain, this is my big bad fatty. Trample Indestructible, 8/8 for 7 and a green. Whenever another creature you control attacks, it gains Trample and Indestructible until the end of turn. and he himself has trample and indestructible. Verdant Forest from Tempest. Weird art. 5 and 3 green for a 7/7. I used to play with this guy all the time back in my casual days. During each player's upkeep, put a sapperling token onto the field, and it's a 1/1 green creature. Regal Force, 4 and 3 green for a 5/5. When he ETBs, draw a card for each green creature you control. Bane of Progress. Not many artifacts and enchantments in this deck, so we like to mess people up. Other people. He's a 2/2, but he doesn't stay that way. 4 and 2 green, and when he enters the battlefield, destroy all artifacts and enchantments, and he gets a +1/+1 counter for each permanent destroyed that way. Planeswalkers. I've got like 3 of them. Arlen Cord, 2 and a Gruul for a 3 loyalty Planeswalker until end of turn. Up to 1 target creature gets +2/+2 and gets Vigilance and Haste. You can pay 0 and put a 2/2 green wolf creature token onto the field and transform Arlen Cord into this bitch. Arlen, Embraced by the Moon. Insert howling sound here. +1, creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain trample until end of turn. -1. Arlen, Embraced by the Moon, deals 3 damage as you deals 3 damage to target creature or player, and then transform Arlen back to regular Arlen. And then -6, you can alter. You get an emblem with creatures you control have haste and can tap to deal their damage equal to their power to target creature or player. It's pretty badass. All right, Xenagos the Reveler. Really, really great in this deck, both of these Planeswalkers. 2 and a Gruul for a 3 loyalty Planeswalker. Add X mana in any combination of red and or green to your mana pool where X is the number of creatures you control. You can pay 0 and get a 2/2 red and green Satyr creature token with haste onto the field. Or you can -6 and exile the top 7 cards from your library. And you can put any number of these creature and or land cards from them onto the field. He doesn't live long. My opponents are mean, and they like to get rid of him. Domri Raid. This is possibly the best fit for Domri. 3-drop Planeswalker, 3 loyalty, +1. Look at the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, reveal it and put it into your hand. -2, a target creature fights another target creature. One of those you have to control, obviously. And -7, you get an emblem with creatures you control have double strike, trample, hexproof, and haste. That's pretty badass. And I actually also got a cool custom emblem token on eBay that I'll show y'all because, well, it was not cheap. I actually also got the Arlen Cord one as well. So that's the custom token. There's a dude named Dimitri in Thessalonica, Greece, that makes all of most of my custom tokens, and then that's Arlen Cord's emblem as well. Pretty badass, if you ask me. Good job, Dimitri. Keep up the good work, homie. Visit him if you want some really cool custom tokens. I've got a Scapeshift deck that has custom forests and mountains. I don't know if they're tournament legal, but they are freaking gorgeous, and I'll show you that sometime soon as well. Back to nature. Destroy all enchantments. Instant. Simple. Cryptolith Rite. Enchantment. Creatures you control can tap for any 1 mana. Enchantment for 1 and a green. This also can be used on Thar if you don't want him to attack. You tap him for a mana before combat. No problem there. It also helps you cast your fatties. Heroic Intervention. Invariably, somebody's going to try and wrath the board. So this will help everybody survive unless they pull a Merciless Eviction. All right. What else have we got here? Natural Order, Tutor. 2 and 2 greens, sack a green creature, search your library for a green creature card and put it into play as though it were just cast. Shuffle your library. It's a legendary, or legacy staple. Green Sun Zenith, X and green. There's Dax again. Every time the wind blows, she has to bark her head off. But if somebody shows up and she's sleeping, she won't wake up. So she's a Great Dane, so thank God she's not a guard dog. All right. Green Sun Zenith, X and green, tutor a green creature onto the field with CMC X or less, and then shuffles a Green Sun Zenith into your library. Defense of the Heart, one of the most broken and unfair green enchantments in all of Magic, if you ask me. 3 and a green, during your upkeep, if one of your opponents controls 3 or more creatures, sack Defense of the Heart and tutor 2 creature cards onto the field and shuffle your library. Nuts, absolutely nuts. Cultivate, ramp a little bit, search for 2 basic lands One, reveal them, put one into your hand, one under the field tapped. Asceticism, more hexproof and regeneration. Creatures you control get hexproof and pay one in a green. You can regenerate them. It's an enchantment for 5, 3 and 2 green. Lurking Predators, this is funny. 4 and 2 green enchantment. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, reveal the top card of your library. And if it's a creature card, put it onto the field. Otherwise, put it on the bottom of your library. So, draws you into more gas. Selvala Stampede, also really funny. 4 and 2 green. Council's Dilemma. Starting with you, each player votes for wild or free. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you hit a creature card for each wild vote. And then put those creatures onto the field. And then shuffle the rest into your library. And then you can put a permanent from your hand onto the field for each free vote. A little politics there. Beast Within. Destroy something and then give its controller a 3/3 beast creature token onto the field. Very little removal here. Enchantments. Soul Ring. Conjurer's Closet. So you got a buttload of ETBs in this deck, so you might as well take advantage of them and try and break this. 5-drop artifact. At the beginning of your end step, you can blink a target creature that you control. Swifty Boots. Helps Thar stay alive and unmessed with. Obviously, hexproof and haste. Equip 1 2-drop equipment. Lightcrafter's Bestiary. Beginning of your upkeep, scry 1, and whenever you cast a creature spell, you can pay 1 green, and if you do, draw a card. That, my friends, it's Ruric Thar, the Unbowed. He is insane and so much fun. And the thing is, if you're playing like I do, I play a lot of Emperor, I also play a lot of Two-Headed Giant EDH, you don't have to necessarily cast Thar if it's going to hurt your partner. So think about that as well. Otherwise, build this thing. Let me know what you like about this. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how I can make these videos better for you. I might start doing some of my modern lists, but they're pretty stock. Maybe I'll do the mono blue turns list for you if you feel like it. And so I'll talk to you later, and I hope you're doing well. Take care. Bye.